Ladies and gentlemen, I often refer to this entire shit show, the Trump show, as looking at it from the big picture. If we take the big picture of the progression of promises from Donald Jackass Turd Burglar himself to the billionaire class with his parties and with his all those events that the Red Hats were calling fake news, when he had the heads of the oil companies, for example, and he said in front of the heads of all the CEOs and all that of the oil companies that if they put $1 billion into his campaign, then he will basically let them write their own regulations. Everyone who thought anything positive about the Republican Party automatically thought that that was pure bullshit and fake news, because that's the narrative coming from the Republican Party. Now, having said that, these ended up being more true than anything, because the investigations that soon followed actually produced documentation and bank records of those transfers and said regulatory wish lists. One of those other dinners that he's had leading up to today was with the billionaires, with the CEOs, and with the people down at Mar-a-Lardass or one of his other clubs. He had all of these billionaires, and one of the things he said to everybody was he will not tax them with anything if they give them $1 billion. Same sales pitch, different class, different pitch. The difference is the business people heard the tariff pitches and all the other stuff that he was telling these business leaders. And some of them walked out and said, whoa, if he does this, we're all screwed. I don't want any part of this. There is actually documented interviews and evidence on those conversations of those same people coming out of those. Was it performative? I don't think so. These weren't people like Elon Musk. But if you take that into account with the big, beautiful bill and everything that has come out since then, you need to again look at the big picture. This big, beautiful bill that was unanimously voted for by Republicans that will kick 17 million people off of Medicare, off of health care, and all the other wonderful benefits that are coming out about it are solely about tax breaks and fulfilling those promises to those people at those dinners. Big picture. Follow the character lines of each and every group of people or singular person in the spotlight. I've been saying that from the beginning. It really, really does minimize the amount of crazy that's going on around us, and it puts us in a situation where we are forced to focus on the most important stuff. This is about money coming into not only the Trump campaign, the Trump administrations, but all of the Trump businesses that Donald Jackass Trump, by the Constitution of the United States, is not supposed to be able to make a dime off of. But judging by the 200 plus pairs of shoes alone available at the Trump store and everything with Trump on it, it's obvious emoluments doesn't mean shit anymore to Donald Jackass himself or the Republican Party and the voters who swear to be constitutionalists, patriots, and, oh yes, America first. Unless, of course, there's homework involved and you have to fact check those you are praying to. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's very, very important we make sure to keep focused on what's real. What's real is his bottom line and the people around him's bottom line. How many contracts did Musk get while he destroyed USA Aid and all of the projects that USA Aid is in the middle of? And as a reminder, they were paying for food like the 500 metric tons that was incinerated just for the hell of it. That would have fed 1.5 million starving children in Gaza for 1 month. Incinerated out of heartlessness and hatred of fellow humankind. And this is the gut check and the soul check where most Republicans and MAGA are starting to recognize in a sprinkle in the Epstein files, enough is enough. There is still time for us to stand shoulder to shoulder worldwide, unite, rise up peacefully, armed with nothing but empathy, kindness, and most of all, facts. But throughout all this, through his visits to Scotland for his golf courses that cost the Scottish and English government $14 million, and seeing the protests and the hundreds of thousands of people speaking up, rising up, and telling him how they really feel. Us Americans need to find strength in that and recognize that this fight is not over. He has pissed off everybody and hurt everyone just as much as he's hurt us. So take that as a calming voice in the craziness around us. And looking at the big picture and following all of the character lines, recognize you can predict the next move if you're paying attention to it. And ignore the noise. The focus will be there, the truth will be there, and we will be there. God bless you all. Stay diligent, stay educated, and be kind, because we are all in this together. And don't worry, ladies and gentlemen, there's less and less red hats and less flags with Trump's name on it every time I leave the house. That's a beautiful thing. God bless. Stay strong.